In the process of cleaning up, I found something interesting, an old workbench that belonged to Kim's grandfather, and as I found out, it has an incredible history. Can you tell me a little bit about this table?
This was a table that I remember as a little kid being in my father's shop. There was a wood lathe mounted on it, and all of the wood turning chisels and all the paraphernalia were kept in that drawer, and it was in place in the shop that we bought when I was a kid, and I moved in about the time I was a year old, and my father had it. And then,
So you actually grew up with this table.
I grew up with this table. I've done a lot of things on this table.
And now your granddaughters are going to get this table because I have something very special for them, and I have somebody that's going to fix this up and make it look really good.
Oh, that's great.
It's going to come back to life.
That's great. That's wonderful.
I think they're going to enjoy it a lot. I love the table myself. I think it's beautiful. Especially that it's almost 80 years old. After my find, I decided...
Coming up next on the Carefree Gardener, with a little help from our friends, we're ready to install the sprinkler system. And wait until you see what Dave the carpenter does to our historic bench. Plus, we'll give you tips on how to care for your citrus trees so you'll have delicious fruit to enjoy.
Remember the old bench I found earlier? Dave, our carpenter, is turning it into a potting bench for the girls, Carly and Sarah.
As you can see, a lot of these nails, they were popping out, so I had to set them back inside and then sand off the top. Now, I don't know how much they're grabbing inside, so I am going to sneak behind and do a little bit of construction adhesive just to make sure everything stays together.
Carefree Gardener, it's day 2. Last night we finished the patio on the interior, and now it's time to do the perimeter where we're going to have a random edge. After that, when the volunteers get here, we're going to install the sod, the plants, the granite, and we should be finished with a beautiful backyard by this afternoon. The Golovics like to entertain, so I'm extending the patio to give them some extra room. Boulders are a good way to naturally transition from pavers to grass. We found one in the front yard that will fit perfectly. See how that right there? Put it right there. Oh yeah. If you're looking for a simple way to place a random curbing on the edge of your pavers, very simple. Lay out a few pavers in a similar shape to the desired effect. Then grab a piece of PVC pipe, place it next to those pavers, lock it in place with some backup pavers until you get your desired curbing, and then simply mark along the PVC pipe, and this will be your cutting edge. Once you get the edge you want, cut the pavers to create the curve. Then install a thick layer of mortar. Place the pavers on the mortar. This will give you a finished edge. Lastly, spread sand in between the pavers to secure them. Then your patio is ready for entertaining.
We're heading into the home stretch for this backyard makeover. Coming up, we'll check in on Dave to see how the potting bench is shaping up. And Kim and Theo get a lesson on picking plants, including one that smells like popcorn. Plus, you don't want to miss the big reveal and the surprises we have in store for this deserving family.
It's kind of ironic that I actually had to age this piece. It's 100 years old, and I actually had to round the corners off and do a little bit of distressing. The purpose of that is some of these sharper edges were going to be a little bit tough to handle for the little girls. So by dressing it up, kind of distressing it, giving it that aged motif thing, we've served two purposes. We give it that, you know, cool artsy-fartsy kind of thing, but it's also a lot safer for the kids. And then at the top, this was all covered in like mill scale stuff from actually working in a shop. So we took that down, brushed it up nice as can be expected for a 100-year-old piece of steel. But yeah, we're really excited about it. Then I did just a little bit of stylized flower work in here, some little bit of relief carving, just to give it something to make the girls feel like it's theirs.
Dave's been putting his heart and soul into restoring this old bench for the past 2 days. While he was preparing the bench, we had a little find of our own.
What we found here is we got an old drawer that we were going to have to fix the hardware, have some way of opening the drawer. We opened the drawer, and lo and behold, there was this little hammer inside. So what we're going to do is use this hammer as the new drawer puller. Ingenious, if I may say.
Now the mending, sanding, and carving is complete. It's time for the stain.
What I did here was the dark stain in the grooves in the flower here and here. Just stained it all over, and then I went over and sanded everything down again so that I had the dark popping out instead of just blotched on. So now, with it all blonde again like this, I go over with my lighter color and make those flowers just jump out and say, hey.
Dave says anyone can transform antique pieces like this bench into something useful for today.
If someone were to come across something like this in their backyard, their attic, the garage, whatever, an old piece of furniture that's been in the family forever, of course you find a dresser and that's easy. You look at that and you just think refinish. You know, you take some steel wool and you distress it, whatever you're going to do. This is a little bit different. I mean, this is a big bulky piece that might take a little bit more imagination to see what it could be. And in this case, Craig's decided that it could make a great potting table for the girls. And I couldn't agree more. It was big and sturdy and solid and designed to be kicked around in a big shop. And only something like that could stand up to the rigors of what those twins are going to put it through. So, yeah, that's about it. Just don't be afraid. Take it out of the shop, take it out of the garage, get it out in the driveway like I did here, and fly at it. Just get rid of the old stuff that makes it look like what you think it looks like, and get to what's really in there.